Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Today is the day 30 for our PCNSA series. So in my previous video, I've already discussed about the SSL handshake and the SSL concept as well in a very detailed way. If you have not watched it, I will recommend you to please watch that video. Okay. For your convenience, I'll put that video in the I button. You can just click on the video I button and you will get that video. Please watch it and then you continue watching this. So today in this particular video, what we are going to cover is how generate a SSL certificate or any certificate in Palo Alto Firewall. How can we configure SSL profile, how to configure SSL decryption, and how to verify whether the SSL decryption is working or not. This is very important topic, guys. I will highly recommend you to watch this video till the end because it will help you to configure SSL decryption as well as in the interview world, as well as when you are doing some kind of troubleshooting whether the SSL decryption is happening in real world. That will help you. And also I'll request you to please subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you never miss any video from me. So without any further delay, let's get started. So friends, all these topics, or you can say as a task, can be performed in the lab. Okay, so let's hit the lab and we'll try to perform all these tasks. So let me rub this off and let's move on to the lab. I've taken a very simple app to understand the concept first, then we'll understand the complexity of it. Okay, now I've taken a test PC over here. Test PC is basically for initiating the traffic, and then test PC is in our internal network or a private IP address. Okay, and which is connected through 101. 102 port number is connected towards internet, and this is the range that we are going to use in, and this is our management interface through which we are going to manage or basically log into Palo Alto Firewall to configure it. Okay, so this is a pretty simple lab to understand. Okay, now let's move on to the Palo Alto dashboard. Okay, so this is the dashboard, friends. As you can see, this is the dashboard of Palo Alto Firewall. If I go to network, as I have already configured the IP addresses over here, as you can see, as per the topology. So configuration of interface I have already covered. So if you want to see that video, you can just go and see, it is there. Now let's go to device and we'll generate the certificate now. So in the device, if you just go little bit here in the certificate management, you have to click on certificate, and right now you don't see any certificate, so we are going to generate a new certificate. Now this certificate will be a self-signed certificate. We are not buying the certificate from anywhere. So let's generate a certificate here. Now we can put any name over here. So let's say SSL cert. So SSL certificate. Now here you have to type the IP address or FQDN on the certificate. So basically you can type the device host name, okay, or the IP address. So right now we don't have any DNS infra in my lab. So I'll be just typing my IP address of the internal interface of Palo Alto, because end of the day that certificate will be going to this test PC, and test PC is connected to the Palo Alto Firewall on this particular IP address. So he'll be seeing that IP address. So let's put that 192.168.10.1, or it's 1.10, or let me just check once. It's 10. I guess 10, right? So 10.10. And this will be the certificate authority because he needs to generate or issue a new certificate. On the fly, he will be generating the certificate and he'll be creating the certificate, and then he'll be sharing the certificate or responding to test PC, right? And after that, these are the algorithms which will help to generate the certificate. So let it be like this. We don't want to change anything. In the attribute, this is optional. If you want to put, you can just put it. I'm just putting the IP address. So 10.10, okay. And if you want to put any further information, you can also put it, okay. Let's say organization, I'm using a lab. So this is just to, there's no information that where is the lab or something like that. This is just a information to check whenever I receive the certificate. At least by seeing this value, I can recognize, or by seeing this IP addresses, I can recognize that it is using my certificate, right? So let's generate the certificate. And this is the way we should be. It is very easy to generate a certificate. Now, if I click on the certificate, we have to select an option. We will be using forward trust certificate over here, okay. And this is the certificate we will be using for forward traffic. Like, let's say for an example, if the traffic is going from Palo Alto firewall towards internet, that is called as forward, okay. Now Palo Alto firewall will intercept if the SSL decryption is happening, and he will do the SSL decryption with the help of forward trust certificate. He'll be generating a new certificate which he will be getting from internet, and he'll be putting all the information and issue by Palo Alto, and he'll be sharing the certificate to test PC. So this is this kind of certificate called as forward trust certificate, right? So let's create that and let's commit this information, okay. So friends, we have done the commit process. Now the next option that we have to do is we are going to configure the SSL profile. So let's go into SSL profile and let's configure it, okay. Now we have to go to objects, okay, and we have to configure a decryption profile. So let's create a SSL profile. So this is profile. I'll just put the name over here. Now this profile is specifically for the Palo Alto and the external server communication, right? So how exactly it is? Let's say server certificate needs to be validated. Now server is sending a certificate to Palo Alto firewall. Let's say that is expired. It is not having trusted issuer. So whether to accept the traffic or block the traffic. So whenever you, let's say for an example, if you receive a certificate which is expired. So let's say I went to abc.com and server during the SSL negotiation time, the server has sent me a certificate which is his certificate, and that certificate is basically expired. So whether I need to block the traffic or I need to allow the traffic. So you have to specify that, okay. Now the other thing is, let's rub this. Now the other thing is unsupported mode checks, okay. Now let's say in this particular case, Palo Alto is unable to process or unable to validate the cipher information. So this was for certificate check and this is for encryption validation. So let's say in SSL, if you know, in SSL handshake, we'll send some encryption information like encryption hashing, like the cipher settings, okay. Now if that cipher settings are not matching, the SSL version will have version 3, then TLS 1.2, 1.3, 1.4, like that. So if this is not matching, whether to block the traffic, whether to allow the traffic, that we are going to select in this particular phase. Then this is failure check. Failure check is basically, let's say Palo Alto is unable to process the traffic, okay. So Palo Alto has received the, like his process is not working processes are not working properly, in that case what will happen? Let's say his process is too busy to process a new session or process a new SSL decryption. So in that case we have to block the traffic or we have to allow the traffic. So if you are allowing, it will go without SSL decryption, right? So you have to decide all these options, what we supposed to do with this. Okay. Now, as I was talking about SSL forward proxy, now we have other option, which is SSL inbound inspection. Like if you have a server, okay, and let's say I just consider this one as a server, okay, and this is our Palo Alto firewall, and this Palo Alto firewall is connected to internet, okay, and on internet we have some users. Now user is coming from internet and trying to access this particular server, so that is called as inbound inspection. Fine. So we are not going to look at inbound inspection right now. And then we have SSL protocol settings. Now what version or what protocol version he needs to use, whether the TLS version 1 or TLS 3.0, because there are few servers which is basically they are legacy servers and they only supports SSL version 3, whether to accept the traffic in our network or not. Okay, or else you can just deny all this and you start accepting the other version of SSL, which is 1.0, 1.2, 1.TLS. Okay, and this is the key exchange algorithms, and these are the encryption algorithm, and these are the authentication algorithms. Okay, now you are going to select all these options, and then this is basically for node decryption. And then we have SSH proxy. If you want to do an SSH proxy, you can do it here as well. Okay. So this is how you are going to create SSL profile. Okay. The next task is basically how to configure a SSL decryption. So now we'll go to the policy. Okay. We have a decryption policy. We have already a security policy that needs to be configured. NAT policy needs to be configured because we have to allow the traffic first. Okay. And then we'll create a decryption policy over here. Let's create a decryption policy. Let's say I am just doing from our internal to external world. Okay. So my source will be inside, and my source address will be this one. So I'll just put the source 192.168.10.0/24, right? And the destination would be outside, and it can be any because we are not sure about that. Now in the option we have to decrypt. I'm not choosing any specific category or something. I'm just telling to decrypt everything. Okay. And the decryption profile that I'm going to choose, which I have created just now. Okay. And I'll just click OK. And with this, I will just create the internet policy, like to allow internet policy. So I'll just allow from inside to internet. So let's create from inside. We are going to 192. Okay, 168.10.0/24. Fine. Destination would be outside, and it can be any. I'm just creating a very simple policy over here, and the NAT policy as well. Okay. So again, it's a kind of a pad that we are doing. So from inside to outside, and I'm going to translate with the path with the interface 1/2, and this is the one, right? So let's commit this process. Okay, and then we'll go further on this. So let the commit process happens. I'll stop the video and start once it is done. So friends, the commit process has been done properly or successfully. So as you can see, we have a forward decryption untrust is not configured. We are going to see later, not right now, but it is just a warning. It is not a error or something, but our configuration has committed successfully. So let's go to the test PC. Okay, we'll open the test PC. We'll try to assign the IP address. So this is the IP address assignment, IPv4. Okay, so as we have already assigned the IP address, which is fine. Okay, so from here we are going to test the connection. Okay, so let's try to open google.com. Now we are getting a privacy error, or basically your connection is not private. Let's try to check the certificate here. Okay, where is the certificate? I guess this, yes. So now you can see that issued by 192.168.10.10. So who is issuing the certificate? Issuing Palo Alto Firewall, and we don't have that certificate installed in our PC. Okay, now if you try to go and try to search in the browser, I'll just search for cert, and if I go more, so if I go to manage certificate, trusted root certificate, and can you see any 192 or something like that? I cannot see that. Number should have to be here, but we cannot see that certificate. So what is the option here? Okay, there are only one option for this particular topology. I will activate HTTPS access on this interface, and from here I will download the certificate. I'll install the certificate in this particular PC. But what happens in the real world environment? So in real world environment, mostly what happens is we will export the certificate, and the certificate will be shared to the server team. Now the server team will take the certificate, and through group policy he will be installing to all the PCs which is there in that organization. So in the organization, whatever the PCs or whatever the devices are there, they will have with that certificate. Now next time whenever they get the certificate, the browser will not throw an error because the certificate will be there, the root CA certificate. Okay, so let's do that. I'll just go to Palo Alto Firewall, network, interface 1, and in the interface 1 I can see that we have already a management profile which is ping. So go to interface management, and we can see the interface management has already HTTPS ping on. Okay, so I'll go to the interface, and the ping profile has been added. Where we need to add, we have to go to advanced, and we have to basically call into this. Okay, now I'll go to this, and I'll try to access the Palo Alto Firewall. So this is HTTPS. Oh, sorry. Okay, it is little laggy over here, guys. I'm unable to do anything on this. Okay. No, I guess we have to wait. Let me just close and start it again. Just give me a minute. So I had to close the browser. Let me log in again. 192.168.10.10, right? This is to log in into Palo Alto Firewall. So let's log in, put the password. Now it is allowing me to log in now. and from here I just need to export the, or maybe download the certificate from device to the PC, and from there we'll try to install it. Okay, so now it's loading now. So whatever it is there, I'll just remind me later. I'll go to the device. Then we had to go to certificates. Now you will see a certificate over here. It is loading right now, as you can see over here. I'll just select the certificate and I will just export the certificate. I can put the password here. It is a lab, so I'm not putting any passwords. I'll keep the certificate and I will take the certificate. Where is that? Open the certificate. I'll try to install it. Okay, so I'll just do it for the local machine. Trusted. Next, finish. And now sometime we have to do it for current user as well. Sometimes it doesn't work, so we'll make sure that we have to do it in both the places. Finish. Okay, so import is successful. Let's close this browser and let's try to open it again. And now the certificate is already there. If you want to see the certificate, I'll go to the settings, certificate, go to more, manage certificate, in trusted we will see 192.168, close. Okay, now let's try to access Google now. So google.com, now you can see that it's opening very fast. If I go to yahoo.com, okay, now the Yahoo is opening, as you can see over here. And if you see, go to certificate path, you will see our Palo Alto has issued this certificate. So he takes all the information from Yahoo, he put it into the certificate, and he just put, or he just changed this issuer name, that's all, to Palo Alto. Okay, now as you can see that every time the certificate is coming from the Palo Alto firewall itself. Let's try to see whether the decryption is happening properly or not. Okay, so this is the last task for today, guys. So verify SSL decryption is working or not. So I'll just go here, go to the monitor. Now in the monitor we have an option to see whether the decryption is happening or not. So decrypted, if you enable these options, you will see yes. Now the decryption is happening only for HTTPS communication, not for any other protocols. Okay, now these are DNS traffic, which is, it's not decrypted, but when we talk about 443, which is HTTPS, that will be decrypted, as you can see here, right? So if we go further, you will see that the flag of decryption is there and it is getting decrypted. Fine. And like this, whenever you are going to SSL or HTTP, basically the HTTP or 443 port numbers, everything will be decrypted. Now, let me tell you one more thing, or the bonus thing that I wanted to tell you. If you go to device, okay, and if you scroll down little further, SSL decryption exclusion, okay. Now every country has their own cyber law, right? Now as per a global cyber rule, we should not be decrypting the private datas. Like when you are talking to WhatsApp, when you are talking to Facebook, you should not be decrypting. Okay, so these are the websites which is basically here. It's 194 websites which has been out of the decryption thing. So decryption will not be applied to these URLs. Okay, Let's say if you want to remove, let's say your country is telling you, no, you have to decrypt it. For an example, let's say WhatsApp, I will take an example, and you want to remove it from the list. Now you just go here, okay, and you just need to click here and you have to disable this. Now once you disable and once you commit, after that WhatsApp data will also get decrypted as well. Okay, and if you want to add some host here, you can just host it, or maybe you can just put it here. Okay, so this is how you can do a decryption. As you can see, the decryption was happening. In the upcoming session, we are going to see that how the decryption will play a very important role in inspecting any application, which I'm going to show you in upcoming session. So this is what I wanted to cover in this particular video, which I have already covered. I will request you to please hit the like button or comment if you have any questions or if you have any suggestions. You can reach out to me on Instagram or Facebook, wherever you want to reach me, or you can send me an email as well. Thank you so much for joining and watching till the end. I'll see you in the next. Thank you.